Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers, and sisters. Apologies for the delay in getting the show underway. A few personal problems springing up at a very inopportune moment, but I am here. We are here. We are ready to rumble with round one of the Renault Clio Cup Series. My name is Chris Buxton. I'll be one of your commentators throughout this evening's charade. Miss Adam Bent in control of the cameras. Very glad to have you along, good sir. Thank you very much for doing the job.
No worries. Thank you very much for having us.
Now then, Mr. Bent, I'm quite happy to do the lion's share of the shouting. If you want to focus on the wonderful liveries at hand, look at that, 24 drivers, I beg your pardon, because of course one of them is you. I love this subway livery. That is fantastic.
It is very nice. We've got some great liveries on the show tonight, definitely.
I was going to say, now you've been in the session slightly longer than I have, of course, because I've only just appeared. Again, apologies for that. I don't even know, where are we? I'm not even sure. Which circuit are we actually doing? Thruxton, yes. I would have actually recognised it eventually. A circuit that's actually fairly local to me, and a circuit I have actually done live comment. Whoa, that's not how you do it.
That's one of the AJR cars, and I think one of the big logo cars off in the background.
My goodness me, there's lots of people flying off the road as we're looking at Stephen McGregor. Ross McGregor. Bravo, there's a lot of it around Thruxton as well.
Absolutely.
Andrew Richardson in a Rolex livery. Now, what's your favourite livery you've spotted so far?
Well, I'll have to abstain from obviously saying Ross because I definitely didn't make that myself. But there's been some amazing. I mean, the Wild Things livery, for example, lovely. You can see the fading letters on the top of the car. We've got some really nice, obviously, basic liveries here, like the Dunlop and Subway cars. I think are replicas of real cars that have raced in Clio series worldwide.
Now, I will try and not be biased to Mr. Christie here, who a fellow commentator of ours. So I will try my best not to be too biased, as mentioned.
Sorry, we do get. Unfortunately, the software is great. It gives me great opportunities to use the cameras. However, it does get a little bit buggy. So if we do have small freezes, it's more the software than the computer.
I will rumble on, and you can unfreeze it with the use of hammers and what have you. That is absolutely fine. Any hammers, all the hammers and bigger hammers, whenever we need it. So it's good to see such a great turnout and lots of familiar names and new names in the mixture. That is great to see. Very, very much a fan of that. Tom O'Farrell, that's I've seen before. Familiar of these parts. That's not a bad livery.
It's not a bad livery. Again, obviously with the exclusion, I believe, of team championships this year, there's still obviously a lot of different liveries that are team based, but obviously unique as well. So obviously it gives people a lot more unique opportunities to run a livery that maybe they wouldn't often run. As Chris Fisher also runs Rallycross.
Now where has he done that? Where's Mr. Fisher gone for a bit of an explore? That looks like it's going through Goodwood Village and Church, which is kind of one long sequence of corners that ends up being kind of a bit of a straight. Mark Pinmott, another Subway flavoured car. That looks like the tail end of the lap. He's gone through Brooklands, heading up towards Club. If he's going to hit a heavy braking zone and chicane. Where was Stephen Mazanis going?
Well, that's the first chicane. He's gone off a little bit deep there.
Now, I commentated up at the second commentary box, which is up at Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave, as there is Max Mars, current pole man, out again. Lots of people coming out for lots of different laps, which is good to see.
It's very... Sorry.
Yeah, well, carry on, please.
I was going to say, it's just very varied. I quite enjoy this grid. It's a very diverse grid. As this camera software now decides that it still doesn't want to work. But obviously, it's one circuit I've never been to in the UK, as Thruxton. I've been to a lot of circuits. I'm going to a lot of circuits again this year. But I've never been to Thruxton.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, Thruxton's only 45 minutes from me, so I am familiar with it. And, of course, it's commentary arrangements. Like I say, I did some commentary up there, which was very, very nice and good fun indeed. So, very much looking forward to it. Now, in these cars, it's just going to be absolutely, it's almost flat out the entire lap. It's a very, very fast circuit. that doesn't have a lot of braking involved within it. Really, kind of the first chicane, which is up into Campbell, and a little dab of the brakes coming through Goodwood, and then serious brakes going through Club. That's about it. That's all the action the brake pedal really sees.
It is, absolutely. I mean, I've run a couple laps through here, and you've got to be. A lot of the corners are about commitment. Obviously, I've not really. Again, obviously, there's a lot more people here with a lot more experience. We've obviously got Toby, Stu, who have all raced here in real life themselves. So obviously, they'll have a lot more experience themselves. But obviously, a lot of series that race here. For 95, yeah, like you say, 95% of the lap you're flat, and it's all about commitment through those faster corners.
All about, it's all about momentum or maintenance of momentum. I love the fact it says Type R on the side of the red. Was that Stu Neal's car?
That's Stu Neal's car, yeah. So the backstory to that is that's his Civic livery transposed onto a Clio Cup.
That's the Clio thinking big.
Yes, absolutely.
Oops, as Andrew Richardson goes exploring on the outside of, I think I was on the ASAC Seagrave, as we now come through Noble. As the car gets a bit fidgety. It's the perimeter road of a small airfield. I remember once when I was chatting to some of the drivers I was meeting for that particular race meeting I had, which was last April, I think, and a plane coming to land, and it was because, of course, we were right by the airstrip. I felt the need to duck, despite the fact it's good 20-30 meters above my head, but because you're
it does
the
make
holding
you panic,
area is
doesn't
right
it, when
by.
you see a plane just fly over your head. Like, obviously they're 90%, 95% of the time everybody's obviously, they're all trained professionals or have a trained professional on board, but it's like at Donington when you're completely oblivious, and next thing you know you've got a Airbus like A320 flying over your head, and you shit
Boeing
yourself.
flying over you,
Like obviously it's one of the biggest airports as well. Donington, obviously one of the circuits on the calendar this year, or for the season.
Lovely circuit.
Absolutely amazing circuit. I'm gonna have the privilege of being over there on Easter weekend as Chris Fisher's enjoying the view there.
That's an unusual spectator spot.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I think you might get in a little bit of trouble from stewards if you stand there in real life, but
somewhat. So we continue to watch Andrew Richardson. This is a name I'm less familiar with, in the green Rolex livery. I haven't seen Andrew Richardson before. There's a lot, like I said earlier, there's a lot of people we have seen here at SSR in the past. So Stu Neal, Justin Wellbeloved, Mark Pimlott, Ross McGregor. Glad to see Ross McGregor. That was a very late
entry. Obviously in my livery. Ironically, obviously he works for Traction, so obviously spotted that and went, yeah, can I borrow that for a round? So I'll have to probably PM him after and get him a proper livery done up. But yeah, obviously it's good to see Ross, and hopefully maybe we'll see his counterpart John at some point. Obviously I know John's very busy, but I remember them two terrorising countless Assetto Corsa championships, the Ginettas, the Clios, that were just rapid in everything they drove.
Yeah, John, his surname escapes me. Monroe, yes. Yes, absolutely. That's another he's another Traction employee, if I recall. Yes.
He is, absolutely, yes. I have the privilege of working with him in the real world as well, which is absolutely incredible. So,
nice,
but obviously, we have to bring up the main man here, Mr. Toby Owen. Obviously, a lot of these series on Assetto Corsa wouldn't be possible without him, as he throws his Clio around. He's racing Enduro car this year, isn't he, Toby?
Yes, he's in the Enduro car series, which is great to see. Isn't he in the mini challenge or something?
I believe he's planning on entering the mini challenge. Obviously, if we can have a catch up with him at some point. I believe he's entering mini challenge for 2023.
Okay.
So I believe he's got a contract with. Obviously, again, this is all speculation. I'm not 100% sure on what goes on, but obviously he has a contract with a team who enter the Quaife Mini Challenge. Obviously, the support series for British touring cars, and he's been offered, I think he's got this season in Enduro car after racing. I think he raced MX-5s for quite a while, didn't he? He used to race in the MX-5 Cup.
He did. He certainly did. We've seen Toby Owen on track many a time. He's done a fair amount of touring car in sim-related terms as well as in the real world, but he's done his fair stint of touring cars, and he's the one responsible for getting me involved in the VTCC. Crazy man.
Absolutely.
every time we cut to this car here of Denise Pope in the 79. Now, I've done a fair amount of commentary for the Classic Sports Car Club, and this livery very much reminds me of a Civic that has a very similar kind of pink accented. It's kind of more grey and blue, but it's a Civic, and I keep thinking it's a Civic, and I have to kind of remind myself they can't be Civics in this field.
Well, I mean, we've got two cars that pretend to be Civics, then clearly. But no, it's an incredible field. We've got obviously I've raced Denise in, I believe, the Positive Perception Leagues, also obviously in various other series, and commentated, I believe, over her during the Spa 24 last year.
Nice.
So it was there's been really good drivers. Obviously, a lot of these I can remember from virtual touring car days, and obviously there's a lot of these also do race in the other series that SSRI offer. Obviously, lots of series around going on at the moment.
Very true, very, very true. And like I said, a lot of familiar names, both to groups I notice in the field. Are you racing in this series later on? I noticed your name was on the list.
I am on the list. It's obviously going to probably be round by round at the moment, obviously with my extra opportunities of coming in here and chatting to you, and well, more harassing you than chatting, but obviously
you poor soul.
yeah, obviously we race we race each other on Tuesdays with various degrees of carnage. But no, it's all going to be on round by round races. Obviously, always happy to jump on the track. This is a track that really doesn't suit me. I prefer a more technical and flowing track. But yeah, this is a bit too quick for me.
Fair enough. Glad to see Trev Hammer back as well. He was the last VTCC AM champion, if memory serves.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And there he is, our American.
Two-time. I think he's the only two-time VTCC champion. Again, you can quote me if I'm wrong, but I believe he's the only one to have more than one title to his name.
Mind is blank on that one. So
yeah, I can't. There was so many series, honestly.
Yes, also true. True. I'm also I'm looking forward to seeing how the names I do recognise stack up against those that I don't. Just seen Roy Grassi jump up in 7th, car number 8 with a 23.8 on the board. There is Trev in his traditional 404. He's always been that number as far as I can recall.
Yeah, I believe. Well, speaking of 4, was it crashes again? Oh, the software. I think we have to abandon it for the next race. But yeah, obviously Roy Grassi also part of AGR. Obviously AGR used to be quite a large group, didn't they? They used to run close to 8 cars.
Alex Rhodes, isn't it?
Alex Rhodes, yeah, it's Alex Rhodes. Alex Rhodes' team, and I believe that there's some stuff going on in the background where, obviously, unfortunately, a lot of drivers have stepped away to go pursue other bits and pieces. I believe that Trev may be walking away at the end of the series as well. Obviously, my plan is to eventually start up more esports related stuff for the team I work with in the future, so keep posted on that one.
Awesome.
And obviously, yeah, there's a lot of teams that will take drivers like Trev and Roy, who are very good drivers, and again, Trev is very young, so on paper, a lot of teams would be very fortunate to have a driver such as him on their books as such.
Since he joined the ranks of the VTCC and SSR, it's been great to see Trev in particular just improve and improve and improve. And so many people indeed just improving as time goes on. It's been great to see.
I mean, sorry to cut over, but we've got a lot of drivers here. Some of them from the real world. Obviously, you look at Stu, you look at Toby, you look. I believe, does Roy race? I'm sure. But obviously, there's quite a few drivers that we've met through various means. Obviously, through the VRCC that folded into SSRI. And it's been an opportunity for them to jump on and see how they stack against possibly some of the better sim racers in this community.
Yeah, absolutely, indeed. SJS Games, who I was told who that was, and I've completely forgotten and terribly sorry.
SJS. My brain's drawn a blank as
well. Yeah, you've forgotten as well. Saying he couldn't drive tonight, which is a bit of a shame. Oh, Siebenstall.
Oh, Sibren, yeah, Sibren. Yes. He was here earlier. I'm sure he was here earlier.
Now, Sebring Stoll is who that is, so I've had the great pleasure of commentating on many a time. That's bright. That's a very Satsuma-esque livery on Tom.
There's
on
two
Tom
Grid Finder cars. There you go, the two Grid Finder cars are right there. So obviously Toby and Tom both racing in the Grid Finder Clios. You can see the big logo car on the right there, number 22. That is Yari. And again, obviously we've got quite a colourful grid, and I think that's one thing that Clios definitely invite, is a colourful grid.
It's the one time I can actually claim to have got a championship in a previous iteration of the Clio Cup. I actually came away with, I'm not sure if it was the first one, but when it was still in Project Cars 2, but I certainly came away with one of them.
Yeah, I remember that. It was that was an interesting series. Obviously, very enjoyable.
It was good fun. It was good fun. It's Stu Neal.
But yeah, obviously, a lot of the drivers that are here, obviously through various communities that obviously all come together under the SSRI badge, and I think SSRI have done a great job at getting everybody into one big community.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, very much looking forward to seeing how this pans out. So, just to explain the format of the event, so we have this 20-minute qualifying session that is going to be tying up in the next 1 minute and 20 seconds. That will form the grid for race number 1, and then it's a 20-minute race there. And then for race 2, the top 10 are reversed, and then we do battle again for another 20 minutes. As mentioned, the top 10 from race 1 are then reversed. So I'm a big fan of reverse grids. I know it's a little bit polarizing. Not everybody likes it. I love reverse grid races myself.
I think they're great fun.
Yeah. I think it's easier to enjoy them from a commentary perspective than a driver's perspective. But I enjoyed them from driving as well.
Yeah, I mean, reverse grids give people a great opportunity to race maybe someone they wouldn't normally race. You know, you look at drivers like, obviously, Ross, who normally would, I'm surprised he's now in 10th, but obviously would normally be at the front of the field. With reverse grids, you know, I get the opportunity to try and race him. And okay, yeah, it may not last very long, but obviously it gives a lot of drivers a great opportunity, and you learn a lot through racing the faster cars, definitely.
Oh yeah, 100%. Now, also bear in mind that this is a fixed setup league, so everybody is running the same setup in the cars. I'm not sure there's a huge amount you can tweak in a Civic, personally.
There's not.
But in a Civic, in a Clio, there's probably not much you can change in the Civic either, but these are Clios, so that was a moot point. But yeah, these cars, there's not a huge amount you can change in them. But it's... Oh, as Denise gone a bit too deep.
Oh, keep it out the wall. Oh, and that's very well held.
Well held.
Well held.
Probably, that Marshall probably had a few words to say about it. But, and yes, it is that bumpy if you go off the road. Now, it's a bit unusual in the fact that the main commentary box you can actually see you see that large mast you see on the horizon that we did before we cut to Justin. That's actually the air control tower to the airfield, and that's what's used as the commentary box, or the main commentary box. And the second one is essentially a chicken shack on legs, which is where I commentated from when I did my stint in Thruxton. We had quite an amusing incident because both commentary boxes are on the outside of the circuit, which is really, really unusual. We had an incident in, I think it was the first race of the weekend, where one of the BMWs actually lost its driver's side door, but neither commentator realised because they couldn't see it. I was in the pit lane that day, and this car came in. And I was like, "This car's missing its door." You know, when you look at something and you have to look twice because you cannot believe what your eyes are telling your brain is in front of you. And I had to look twice, and this car's got no door. What?
Yeah,
what?
I would say that of things that you wouldn't expect to see is Justin. I think Justin is the last one. Yeah, Justin is the last one to pull off there. So I think that is everybody through qualifying now. But,
all right.
Those times are rapid. If you look at
wow, and Max Mast had that top spot for quite a long time, by half a second indeed, over Andrew Richardson. There's Tom O'Farron and Yannick Valenduc. I'm going to hope that's how you pronounce it, the Dutchman, on row 2. Stu Neal, Trev Hummer, row 3. Justin Werbelove and Cohen DeGroot, row 4. Roy Grassi and Mark Pimlott on row 5. We've got time to scroll a little bit further on.
Of course, sorry.
Scotsman Ross McGregor and Englishman Stephen Mazonis on row 6. Then Steve Hilton and Rolf Schering row 7. Toby Owen and Anthony Tehurst in row 8. Aaron Large and Dave Christie, who's got an Italian flag for some reason. He's really Scottish. I'm well aware.
Their nationality, but yeah, Aaron is definitely not Italian.
Yeah, I think that's where they forget to set their nationality, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you don't set your nationality, yeah, it just doesn't send you to. It doesn't send you to. I'm hoping that's not put me on the grid. I've just realised it may have put me on the grid there.
Okay, Denise Pope and Tom Bunton on row 10. Right, so if he has put Adam on the grid, which
we'll
is...
quickly try and get that off. Let's find out. Oh no, there we go. We're safe.
Oh, you are
safe.
in the pit.
Very good.
I left my car on the pit once, on the start line once. I forgot to recover it back to the pit, and I decimated the leader as they came around and destroyed my car.
God. Imagine.
I was not a popular man that day, I can promise you.
I think my words would be, oh shit, and then, yeah, I would not be a very happy bunny after your car goes flying. So
one of the funniest ones was Snetterton, where the game put my car outside the circuit, and it kept falling to the centre of the earth. That was quite amusing.
Yeah, I've had those glitches before. Snetterton actually one of the circuits that doesn't want to work for me on a set course, so I've got to get it fixing.
It was indeed Snetterton, where I'm actually going to be in April doing some circuit psychology for the CSCC.
Oh, nice.
So we're waiting.
Sorry.
So we're waiting for the drivers. Then, there's a mandatory 2-minute pre-race period where drivers can tweak anything and make any last-minute changes. Although it's a fixed setup anyway, so there's not really anything they can do.
Fuel they can play with, fuel, and I don't even think pressures. So everybody is running the exact same tyre compound, exact same pressures. The only thing they can tweak is how much fuel they want to carry. Obviously, somebody will go brave and eventually run out, but obviously, yeah, the main goal for these guys here is to make sure they get the car to the finish.
Indeed. So expect lots of door-to-door racing going on, as is always the way in any kind of touring car type racing. Of course, these being sort of tin top type cars, these is going to be very fast and furious and very close and very it's going to be lively. I think it's fair to say. Very much looking forward to that.
Absolutely. I mean, you look all the way down the grid and you can just see colours everywhere. You can look all the way back and you can see the bright orange cars of I believe that's Van Binsbergen and the group for Big Logo, and obviously your pinks. It's just incredible. Incredible grid full of some incredible cars.
Lorenzo Molnar in chat says he will be racing next race, so good to see. You'll be doing a last to first challenge there, sir. But you will at least be on the grid, which is always good to see.
Absolutely.
Right, so here we go then. The lights are being prepped for 20 minutes of Renault Clio racing here at Thruxton. Let's see how well Max Mars can hold on to that top spot. It is time for the first race of the night to wind them up and let them go. It's a fairly steady start throughout the field. Looks like most people are getting their way through without too much of a problem. Wow, that camera cuts a bit early. Oh, Richardson on the outside line trying to get past Mars. Can he do it though? Not quite still. Well, loads of side-by-sides going on. Can't talk about all of them. Oh, Aaron Large and Toby Owen have come to grief. They've fallen down the field. And Max Mars holds on to the lead.
Oh my God. There was 4 or 5 wide further back there. It was absolutely incredible. Oh no, come on.
Not now.
Not now.
Come on, Tools, don't fail us now. So Max Mars did indeed hold on to the lead from Richardson. Then Stu Neal, Tom O'Farrell, Valendig 5th, Justin Welbel in 6th position. But look at the gap that Max Mars got for himself. Stu Neal has managed to wrestle 2nd position from Richardson. And Welbel and Valendig have swapped around for 5th place. God, again, look at the side-by-sides going on all over the place. And Toby Owen, when is he going to get a break? Every time I talk about him, he seems to come to grief. He's back in the pits again. Oh, but he's going to ban me from talking about him. Look at this. Absolute scrap going on for everything. Well, no one's told Max Mars that there's a race going on. He's just run off. And look at this. 3 wide. Oh, my goodness. Coming down the backstretch with the 2 wide right behind them as we're coming into the club chicane.
Just sideways.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness!
so there's 2 cars back. That looked like that was Ross, and I know Ross made it through, so I'm not sure who spun, but Grassy's out. Grassy's tired.
Right. Oh, good. Oh, no. Yeah, Roy Grassi is gone. So now Richardson at the top of this train. Tom O'Farrell second. Valenduke third. Stu Neal right beside Valenduke as well. Just a well below right in there. Trev Hummer. I mean, well, there's so many people involved in this. We can't talk about it. Whoa! Who was that? Was really sideways. Whoever it was caught it. That was like McGregor.
That was Ross. McGregor, yeah.
Yeah, the distinctive traction livery going on there. My goodness me. That's absolute madness.
Let's come back. There we go.
Yeah.
I do apologize. There's no breathing space for anybody there. You can see it's pretty much line astern all the way back down to about 16th there. So
I'm glad I was able to make it back for the opening round of this series. Toby was really hoping I was able to do it, and when he said Clios, that was it. I was sold.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard the word Clio, and I was like, sign me up.
Yeah. Give me some of that. As,
somebody's
Hilton
gone off wide. Look,
that
that is very wide.
Oh my goodness me, that's Mazonis. That is Stephen Mazonis that's gone absolutely miles off the road. Goodness me, he's going to plummet. I mean, he's gone off into the local countryside with a look at that. He was absolutely miles off. Look at this. Valenduke and Neal still side by side. Richardson now has got some breathing space as they jump over the chicane. If the game doesn't penalise them for it, and so be it.
So one thing that a lot of people have found is that your fastest lap is over that first bit where you just cut. Obviously, in real life, it's a very bad idea to do that with your car, but obviously because it's virtual, it's not so bad to take those gambles.
Indeed, no one has a repair bill to pick up, and the curbs are actually quite nasty, so you wouldn't want to go anywhere near it. So then, working the way through, Max Mars, 4.6 seconds to the good up front. Now, side by side is Werbelow and Valenduke, but Werbelow manages to win out that one. There's Trev Hummer and Ross McGregor in this particular fight. You just, no matter where you look, there is fighting going on. Toby Owens actually back out on circuit, if I read the tower right, although we're down to 22 cars remaining, so we have lost a couple early doors, unfortunately, but that is the nature of the beast. Oh, no!
The outside there, that was very brave to have a look. He's lost a lot of time, though. He's going to now be under attack from Steve behind him.
Yeah, Stefan Degree, and I think Mazonis had gone off the road. As you can see, if the name highlights red on the tower, it means they have gone off somewhere. Oh, look at Valenduke. He's gone way off lane. He's managed to recover it. But Struth, that would have been a little bit clinching going on there. Then right behind it's Hummer and McGregor having their own argument for 7th position. As we scream on to the completion of another lap, it looks like McGregor's going to get... Oh, we'll pick a camera, Adam.
Sorry.
So it's all good. Well, we're looking back at... As I we're not looking back at Max at all.
We're on board with...
Yes, well beloved. We're looking back to Valenduke, as you say. Then behind them is McGregor and Hummer having their own argument. So this is 5th place that we are on board with, looking backwards. God, this would make me terribly travel sick if I tried to do this. I'd love to have a racing lap, though.
Absolutely.
But none of these things have passenger seats, so I'd have to either drive it or hang on.
I'm sure you could fit one. I mean, we're fitting a couple for a session. I think session at Silverstone. I'm going to get to ride on board with John Monroe, and that's going to be scary.
Oh yeah, that'll be brilliant fun. Awesome stuff. Right. A little bit of the lead is reduced by about 0.3 up front, so there's now 4.3 seconds. Richardson is taking Tom O'Farrell with him, though, so you can just see them going out the shot there. Oh, there they are. There's Tom chasing after Richardson. Oh, you just saw Mas disappear out of the shot there. So that's what 4.3 seconds looks like. And he's actually out of the shot entirely, so he's actually opened that up a little bit more. As they come to complete another lap using all the green stuff, as you're allowed to do. Neal 4th, well below 5th, and Valenduke in 6th. So now that little battle seems to have sorted itself out. McGregor looks like he's on the back of Valenduke now. That's basically adding to that battle for 4th. There's Ross McGregor with Trev Hummer in short order. So this pack are almost equidistant, each car, but don't expect them to stay there for too long. I say it's only a 20-minute race for the first one. Look at Richardson and O'Farrell nearly on top of one another for 2nd place. And you've still got battles further down. So Steve Hilton is trying to close in on Trev Hummer. Trev's made a mistake somewhere. He's 1.6 seconds off the back of Ross McGregor now. So he's going to be joined. Well, he already is joined by Steve Hilton in the 77 car for 9th place. Then it is to Horst in 10th. That's not too far off the back. And then Pimlott a little bit on his own. David Christie right in the middle in 12th position with Schuring for company. There's about a second again as Tom goes to the inside line. Now this is through, I think this is through Vidic heading towards the end. I beg your pardon, through Bricklands. So Tom O'Farrell's nosed into the lead, but he's not going to be able to make the chicane from there. He's got to back out. That one is Richardson sideways, getting the line into the chicane, but Tom O'Farrell's line was a bit compromised coming into that chicane, so he's going to have to bow out of that one. But whilst they're fighting, they're still putting away from Stu Neal and crew.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of gaps now starting to open up as we get towards the halfway stage, but we've still got little packs obviously forming here. Trev Hummer's had a massive incident.
Oh dear, yeah.
He's now down to 14th place, but obviously now being under attack from Cohen de Group. But no, it seems to be that obviously packs of drivers are starting to form now with obviously everybody getting into their rhythm and just trying to run out this race now.
How many times have Chris Fisher, Trev Hummer and Cohen de Group shared track? These three have come together many times. In the past, as Chris has gone a bit deep there in the bright green car. Is Trev going to try and do an outside manoeuvre coming through Seagrave, where he's going to have the run going through to Noble. And there we go. That's going to be a fairly straightforward move for him. Cohen de Group wants to follow suit as well. Still side by side. Chris trying to hang on in the bright green car, but that's not going to hold. Oh, indeed. That got a little bit uncomfortable as Cohen de Group now on the inside line claims that 14th position from Chris Fisher. And that's when it's single make and single setup series, that's, you know, one mistake can be very costly. As Trev nearly dips a wheel onto the grass. You never want to be on the grass, but on there, one of the fastest parts of the circuit, we see Tom O'Farrell and Andrew Richardson complete lap 6? I've lost track entirely.
Yeah, it's been 6 laps, yeah, obviously we've got the lap counter. It's just luckily Mass has run away that far. He's got a lap counter, but
yeah. I mean, no one can stop Max Mars at the moment. The how do you say this? Calippigan? I don't know how you say that exactly. Apologies there, but Max Mars, the German, he's running off into the sunset here at Thruxton.
You can see that the 4th to 7th is now catching up as finally we get a little bit of a glitch, but it was 4th. You can see that 4th to 7th is now catching up to this battle. So you can see that there's going to be potentially another fight for that final podium spot. You can see there you go. Look, Valenduk hasn't let go of the back of Justin Welbelove now, so it's potentially going to be a move here soon.
Indeed. Oh, there's side-by-sides. Well, side-by-sides going on everywhere. That was Richardson and O'Farrell just as the camera decided to stop again. Still side-by-sides. They have been all race long. And, yeah, as you say, Adam, this pack is catching them as that's Stu Neal that's flirting with the grass in the red car. Don't want to be doing that. But now these two, I was saying earlier that the second and third battle had run off from the pack that was chasing them. But that's certainly now been turned completely on its head, as Stu Neal has dragged that pack behind him right to catch them. Although, there it is again, just as the camera restarted. Oh, look at this! Stu Neal really being hustled now by Justin Welbelove. Inside line coming through Allard. That's the first turn. That's Vanadu, who's got a great ringside seat for the battle ahead of him. Can we get on board with the Dutchman, please, with Yannick?
Yeah, can do. One moment. Oh, no, apparently not.
Apparently
the computer said no.
Never mind. So we'll jump back to that when we can. But yeah, as they were coming into Campbell Cobb and Seagrave, that's a great... Whoa, look at that! As Vandenduke is forced onto the grass by trying to make a move on Welbelove. There is Justin on the inside line. So what happened there is Yannick Vandenduke had a great run from Seagrave, a better run than Justin did, but just couldn't quite have... He didn't quite have the room to make the move work and cost himself some all-important momentum. Look at the tails of these cars just getting all sideways. Absolutely great stuff. Vandenduke's got a run here on Welbelove now through Noble, through Goodwood. Never mind, catch up to us when you can. It looked like Vandenduke. Vandenduke looked like he was having a good run there at Justin Welbelove. Did not make it work though, as he's still behind in 6th position. Looks like Stu Neal though has broken away slightly.
Oh,
and
Ross!
Now that's Ross. Where did he come from? My goodness.
He's through that
Whoa,
a little bit.
oh, that's really, really deep into the club chicane there for Justin Werbelow. He's lost
two
position
positions here, I think.
He will indeed, as Ross
like
McGregor
oh,
for
Ross
traction.
Ooh.
Gives Justin a bit of a nudge there
touring
towards
car
the grass.
that.
Yeah, somewhat. As Richardson and O'Farrell continue their fight coming into Cabourn, Cobb and Seagrave once again. Stu Neal is really now free to chase off after that pack that's fighting for second position. There he is in the red car behind Tom O'Farrell. Tom just cannot find the additional. That's not Max Mars, by the way.
That's Mr. Owen, I believe.
Ah, Toby Owen. So still second there. Bearing in mind that he has been into the pits very early on for damage. He's now back out on circuit as we lost Grassi and Mazonis, and there is another one who I can't identify that we've lost from this race. So Toby's going to become real popular real quick. Wow, 7 seconds to the good for Max Mars now. Just Tom O'Farrell again goes to that outside line, but still cannot make it stick. He knows when to make a move and when not to, but he's pressuring all the time to try and make a move on Anthony Richardson. Absolutely great stuff.
Absolutely. You can see he keeps going for the same move every time he tries to go to the outside. Maybe he's going to make it this time. I think he's out. No, looked like he was about to outbrake him, but obviously he can't seem to get enough momentum on that outside line. He's tried it about 3 or 4 laps in a row now, and just every time, obviously Alex is there. Andrew is there.
Andrew, yes.
Obviously counter it every time.
I think I've called him about 5 or 6 different names as the Anthony, Andrew, Alex. I think I've called him various names. It's Andrew Richardson. Apologies for that. But he's done everything he can to fend off Tom Farrow. Andrew Richardson's done a brilliant job in defensive driving. He's put his car exactly where he needs to be. But that has allowed Stu Neal to really close in. And of course, that pack that's following Stu Neal also needs to get in, or will be getting involved in that battle for second position very, very soon. So very quickly, Andrew Richardson is going to become very, very popular. And this might actually spare Toby Owen a little bit if they all start to come to grief. Although he is being caught by this battle for second position. So yeah, I suspect Toby's going to have to jump out of the way. But hopefully he realises how many...
jump out of the way. He's very respectful. But obviously,
absolutely.
Andrew's now going to think in his head, right, I've got a back marker in front of me, a very fast Tom O'Farrell behind me. Now, how do I do both of these at the same time? But every time, you can see he goes straight for that inside line again.
Tom's got a decent amount of momentum here, but again, that's not likely to pay off. Oh, Toby's going to have to make a decision. He's going to have to get out of the way. And there we go. Yeah, Toby's going to cut to the inside line. Very nicely done. And if anything, that was Tom O'Farrell that actually had a bit of a rough run through club there. And that's given Andrew Richardson a bit of breathing space. That's not really what you want to be doing, because Richardson's proven to be very, very quick all night long. And there is now Stu Neal very properly involved in this battle for the remaining podium positions. So 3 cars now fighting for 2 spots on the podium.
Absolutely. You can see also that Valenduk isn't far behind, and he's also still carrying Ross and Justin behind him. We've got a battle going on a bit further back here with, if it wants to let me jump to them, that's Trev Hummer there. There we go. Trev Hummer, Christie and Pope.
Yeah, David Christie and Denise Pope directly ahead, and they're just going out the shot with Chris Fisher. Stefan de Groot now. Name highlighted red. He's come to grief somewhere. As we saw to talk
as well, so it looks like he's having damage.
Oh, is that Toby still being hustled there?
I don't think that is. I think that may be the other car of Tom Bunton.
Oh, right. Okay, so more cars getting very, very close, jumping back up to this battle for second position as Richardson. He's now got to capitalise on that bit of breathing space he's got. He's only got to hold on for another 4.5 minutes. Only has to hold on for another 4.5 minutes. It'll feel like the longest stint in his life, I dare say.
Absolutely.
I've had you, Mr. Bent, breathing down my neck for this kind of period. We've had some fun in the Clios and various other things.
Yeah, touring cars at Imola was probably one of our most intense battles.
That is the one that comes to mind. Oh, good times, sir.
Absolutely.
Good times.
And I'm sure, obviously, you'll hopefully commentating over me in this series at some point. Obviously, I quite enjoy Donington, so I'm hoping to definitely get Donington as one of the races I get to do, this season.
Awesome. But look at the gap between Neal and Valenduk now. That he's shrunk by about 3/10 in this lap alone. So it is possible that the Dutchman could be involved in this battle. Right behind them is McGregor and Wellbeloved. So they haven't been dropped at all. But Yannick Van der Dijk does have a bit of breathing space now, and it does look like as Richardson lost that lead over O'Farrell that he had previously.
I think he has. I think the gap has come down, obviously. O'Farrell is on pace, I think, like for like. I think they're trading times. We'll see when they come over the line next.
That's Wellbeloved and McGregor having an argument now. That's for 6th position, so Ross McGregor in the traction machine is just about and nosing ahead, but Justin Wellbeloved's got the momentum, the inside line, surely. Yeah, there he goes.
Line, exactly what I was saying that Tom needs to do to get past Andrew. The only way he will get past is if he can sell a dummy and get to that inside line.
Ross McGregor.
Oh, Ross is sideways again.
And that's forced Wellbeloved
Justin's off in the grass.
I mean, you can just absolutely floor these cars. I mean,
they are very forgiving.
Yeah, or Scrabble drivers, I've heard they call it, front-wheel drive cars. Just point the nose in the right direction and boot it. It's how minis are typically raced. It's brilliant fun to watch minis being raced.
It is absolutely fun to watch front-wheel drive cars. Because again, obviously, some of them even incorporate like a tactic where they actually lock the rears to try and rotate the car more.
Nice.
I definitely am one of those people that likes to rotate the rear before gunning it. So you chuck your bias a bit more frontward and obviously let the rears slide a lot more.
Ross McGregor is feeling a lot of pressure from Wellbeloved behind. The rest of the field do seem to be fairly settled now. Stu Neal has fallen off the back of Tom O'Farrell as Wellbeloved goes for the inside line. Great move through Goodwood there. There's a fairly fast right-hander that's going to lead to Village, which is a fairly non-existent right. Beg your pardon, that's Church, and then Brooklands are going through. But Richardson's already regained 2nd position from Tom. That battle for 2nd still going on. There we go. So Tom O'Farrell now free of challenge from Stu O'Neill. We've got less than 2 minutes to go. He's back on the case of Andrew Richardson. Is he going to be able to force the mistake? Is he going to try? Well, no, he's forcing himself to the outside line coming up to Campbell. That's not going to yield anything unless Richardson flies off the road. I did see a Mini have brake failure there when I was commentating. You can't quite see it, but the chicken shack is on the outside of the circuit at that point of the camera froze. So, seeing a Mini flying off the road because of a brake failure was quite spectacular. Oh, Chris Fisher, that's you've had trouble at Club.
That's definitely damaged. You can tell he's limping a bit there, so I think he's picked up some damage, possibly too late on the brakes.
Oh, Denise Pope and Trev Hammer side by side, right up behind the green machine of number 87. That's Chris Fisher. So Denise defending very, very hard to try and keep the American behind her. Let's see if she's able to do so. Coming through Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave now. Denise has, she's a bit deep going through Cobb. It's the middle part of that chicane complex. Seagrave, the exit, heading towards Noble, and Denise just about hangs on to the position ahead of Trev Hammer. Dave Christie right behind. So he's still in that particular fight for that kind of midfield spot. Up front, though, as the checker flag is going to fall this time around, Andrew Richardson still fending off the advances of Tom O'Farrell. Screaming through Allard. First the first turn. Then this no-name long left-hander screaming towards Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave that we've just seen. And again, Richardson sticks to the middle of the road, forcing Tom O'Farrell to go to the outside manoeuvre. Through Cobb, through Seagrave. What are they going to do? There is Stu Neal and Yannick Valendu resuming their battle for 4th place right behind them. There is our race leader, just to remind you who he actually is, number 58. As Pope and Hummer have now swapped around. Denise has succumbed to the American. I mean, no one has been in Max's class at the moment, or at all in this race. Oh, no, Dave Christie's gone off the road, so that's going to compromise his run.
Oh, that's a big off there as well. It's right at the end of the lap, so he's spun it, possibly coming through that chicane. There we go. Ooh, that's Tom Bunton at the back. He's just thrown it in as well. But obviously, Max Mass has just absolutely ran away with this. He's checked out. He booked his ticket, checked out ages ago. And there he goes. He comes to the final turn now.
Indeed, your winner for race number 1 of round number 1 is the German, number 58 of Max Mars. But, oh my goodness, Richardson and O'Farrell, side by side on the grass, on anywhere they can be. That may well be decided by stewards, but at the moment, Richardson takes second, O'Farrell third. There's Stu Neal just fending off the advances of Yannick Vandendyk in 5th. Justin Werbelow 6th. Ross McGregor comes home in 7th. Steve Hilton 8th. It's Mark Pimmont's going to take 9th position, with Schering in car number 6 taking the last of the top 10 positions. My word. Oh, and he's backwards. Just coming up the line.
Where's Cohen?
He
needs to move because Cohen is coming.
Yeah, he's got to go again. He should just be able to hang on to that one.
That's a bit of a...
yeah, that was a bit close. And Countryman going to Groot comes home 11th. And Chris Fisher, as we saw earlier, is going to be coming home in 12th. And Denise Pope has actually gotten back ahead of Trev Hummer whilst we were talking about them. Whoa, look at that. That was to Horst. Less than a tenth of a second behind Trev Hummer for 14th place. Aaron Large in 16th. Here he comes through the club chicane to finish the race. Dave Christie was right at the kind of 12th, strong midfield position, but he's earned some damage. The honorary Italian is going to come home. But Tom Bunton, we saw actually airborne at one point, is already back in the pits. I think just Van Binsbergen left to cross the line.
Absolutely, I think so. No, he's crossed the line as well, I believe. So I think we have everyone across the line now.
Wow, my goodness me. Well, we expected it to be a threading race, didn't it? And we weren't disappointed. So then, we don't change session, we don't lobby hop or anything like that. We're straight into the second race. And as mentioned, it's the top 10 that's reversed. So it is Rolf Schering and Mark Pimlott on row 1. Steve Hilton, Ross McGregor, row 2. Justin Werbelow and Yannick Vandendyk, row 3. Steve Neal and Tom O'Farrell, row 4. Andrew Richardson, and he said Ash Richardson, adding another name to his ever-growing list. Andrew Richardson and Max Mars in row 5. I'll get it right in a minute. Coney Greek, Chris Fisher, row 6. Denise Pope, Trev Haber, row 7. To Horst and Aaron Large, row 8. Dave Christie and Tom Bunton, row 9. And Jari van Binsbergen and Toby Owen, row 10. And Stefan de Groot and what would be Adam at the tail end of the field. Wow.
It was an incredible first race, absolutely. And again, now we've got this all again for 20 minutes, with the difference being Max Massa is now going to make his way through 9 cars and then run away. Obviously, that's going to make it a lot harder with drivers like Richardson and O'Farrell wanting to resume their battles. Stu Neal will be keen to keep those two behind. He was definitely on the pace if he was ahead of them to keep them behind. So it will be a very close top 10. And again, obviously, you've got the outsiders: Cody Groot, Fisher, Pope, Hummer, to Horst, Large, Christie, Bunton. They'll all want to get back into there. Obviously, Toby will want to be redeeming himself from race 1 and trying to keep out of carnage as much as possible. We've got a little bit of an interlude now. Obviously, I think it's 4 minutes between each race, so it obviously gives some drivers to have a drink. The sprint race to the toilet and back if you're feeling brave. And obviously, yeah, just getting themselves psyched up and prepared for another 20 minutes of absolute mayhem.
I've seen people lose that battle. I've seen cars remain stationary at the front of grids, or certainly in the midfield pack, where they thought, I can do it, and for whatever reason they don't make it back.
Absolutely.
I think even I have lost that battle myself at some point. More than likely, I've been sim racing long enough to have made that mistake in the past.
I think everybody eventually makes that mistake.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting to know. Obviously, we've got, I think the front 3 liveries here are all base, like quote unquote base game liveries. So obviously liveries that come with the mod. But as soon as I think other than those 3, there's very little in a way of standard liveries as we're about to get underway.
Here we go then, race number 2 for the first round here of the Clio Cup. Thruxton round 2. You could argue, here we go then, lights come on. It is time to wind them up and let them go. And that looked like a pretty decent start from Rolf Schering there to scream away from the line. Yeah, that camera does take a long time to actually become useful. Oh, lots of jostling going on behind, as you would imagine. That was Denise Pope. That looked like there'd been a bit of an impact. Has there? No,
I
everybody's
think everybody's
survived.
through safely.
Oh my goodness me! The Dutchman of Rolf Schuring trying to get away, and well, now is as good a time as any to try and run
Trev
off.
Hammond's definitely the group. We've got two at the back who have had.
Well held there
And
from
Bunton off already. Tom Bunton DNF'd already.
Oh no,
whether that's a connect, that may well have been a connection issue. To be fair. Oh no, he's back now. So apparently, that's an interesting one. It just said he disconnected. I'm sure it just said he disconnected.
I mean, he is from America, so he may well be having some kind of lag issue. But I think it was Steve Hilton we saw very sideways. He was. Steve Hilton, the green car, was very, very sideways. And we see McGregor trying to make a move on Mark Pinlot slightly further behind. There we go. Lots of jostling going on. Oh, my word. As Pinlot is still fending off advances from behind from Hilton. Well, no, sorry. He's just gained that position from Hilton. Where is our race one winner? He's still in 10th position. He may well just be biding his time. There's Ross McGregor in quite an unfortunate position, 2 in front and 2 behind.
Oh, who's that?
Oh no, that's Hilton.
Steve Hilton.
Steve Hilton is
He's off in a big way.
Did he get shoved or did he outbrake himself? I didn't quite see as I was looking at the tower at the point that he span. Then right behind that's O'Farrell and McGregor, O'Farrell and Vandenberg that's having an argument as Tom Bunting gets back underway. There's Justin now right on the case of Rolf Schuring for the lead of the race with 1.8 seconds back to Mark Pimlott, who's got Ross McGregor for company. And then it's just an absolute mass of cars behind Yannick Vandenberg, Tom O'Farrell, Andrew Richardson, Stu Neal, Max Mars there in 9th place. Oh, we expect lots of chopping and changing going on. Richardson's now gotten ahead of O'Farrell, and there you can see the background of the shot. That was McGregor on Pimlott. Couldn't quite make it stick at the moment. Justin Welbel really hustling for the lead right now. Can he get the inside line coming through Church?
He's got to get that inside line, otherwise the next lap you're going to start behind again. There we go. There's the first screen freeze of the session. I knew it was going to come eventually, but obviously you can see these two have checked out a little bit. 2 seconds away now. Obviously they're in the race of their own now. Obviously behind them is what's looking like carnage. You look all the way back to 14th before you have a gap of more than a second.
Farrell and Neal still arguing over 7th position. Christie and Fisher for 12th. Oh, there goes Welbelove. He's picked his moment. He's gone to the inside of Allard, and he's going to get that one done. Nice move there from Justin Welbelove. He timed that one pretty well. He'd been hovering behind Schuring. 3 seconds now back to Mark Pimlott. He's got this lot for company. That's Valenduke right next to him, but Pimlott's going to have the inside line coming up for Campbell. Then McGregor and Richardson. No, Farrell, Neal. Oh, that's Toby Owen and Chris Fisher off. Every time I talk about Toby Owen, or I'm talking about a race with Toby Owen in it, he seems to fall foul, and there he is again. Him and Chris Fisher, I think, had tangled up, possibly. Oh no, Bunton, I think, had already had an issue, hadn't he? So
yeah,
just caught that one slightly late.
The grid finder car's having an absolute disaster today.
Oh dear, oh dear. Valenduke's just gotten ahead of Mark Pimlott there. Well, they're still arguing over what is 3rd position as the camera is died on us again.
That was a new one.
We'll catch up with that shortly. Valenduke's to the head of Pimlott. O'Farrell. Oh, Richardson! Where's Andrew Richardson gone? He's falling through the field. What has happened to the 91 car? He's spun somewhere. He's still falling through the field, so he's had a big spin. I think he's gotten going again, but Valenduke now up into a podium spot with Mark Pimlott right behind. Ross McGregor and Tom O'Farrell still arguing over 5th position.
Very well.
Yeah, doing a bit of lawn mowing whilst you're at it.
Well, look at that. Tom O'Farrell in an absolute blinder compared to Ross there. 2 seconds quicker than him on that last lap alone.
Wow. The traction liveried car having a bit of a mare that time around. Look at Justin Welbelove. He's already 2 seconds ahead of Rolf Schuring. As Chris Fisher has had another incident. He's spun somewhere. It's club chicane again.
It's a very again, obviously they're sending it through with little to no regard for their own safety as they send it through. And again, it's now catching more and more people out as obviously the track's evolved. People are trying more aggressive tactics to try and catch up to each other.
Max Mars has not been able to make his way through the field as quickly as I thought he would. Dave Christie actually challenging him for that 10th spot. There's Valendijk, you can see, with Pinmont, O'Farrell and McGregor in that shot. Stu Neal with Cohen de Groot in short order for 7th place as well. So lots and lots of battling going on, as you would always imagine in these clears. There is Mars, and that's Dave Christie on the inside line, getting a decent run on him. Right behind is to Horst. So Anthony to Horst for Renault trucks. Again, that's big thinking for the Clios, I suspect. But yeah, I'm surprised that Mats hasn't been able to show the same pace he did first time, unless he's got some kind of damage on his car.
Again, I think it's with any spec series. You know, this is a true spec series, and that's the good thing about sim racing. Is Dave Christie? I think he's just gone backwards. I don't know if he's still facing forwards. If he is, I would love to know how he is. When we leave the shot, he was sideways, and now he's back to the right around. But obviously, with a true spec series, you can't really gain an advantage on anybody. You know, if you are stuck in the midfield, you are stuck in the midfield. You've got to be in a league of your own, really, like, to have an advantage through the field. And this is what Max is probably realizing. You know, he can't just run away like he did with the last race. He's now going to fight his way through.
Absolutely. So he's doing his best. There's Denise Pope in 9th position, leading that particular train. So a lot of pressure on her shoulders. There, right ahead, is De Groot and Neal. And, oh, that's McGregor on Pimlott. Oh, who's that on the infield?
I'm not quite sure. It's not come up on the system, but...
No, it's not showing that someone is off.
Is that a car? Is that just a bit of AI scenery? Might be a bit of scenery, I'm not sure. But obviously this is a circuit being so, like, there's very little in the way of barriers, obviously, on the inside. So... I mean, I've seen a few people, obviously, at Croft as well, we're going to have that situation where you've got that chicane after the, almost like hairpin right, where you can actually, if you get it wrong, end up at the other side on the pit straight. I've been unfortunate enough to end up that way. And also watch, I believe it was Miles Dixon in the Ginettas, who ended up on the other side of the track after an incident.
Yes, I do believe he did. As we just saw at the bottom of the shot there, Yannick Valendijk take that 2nd position for Rolf Schuring, as we see Ross McGregor still hustling Tom O'Farrell with Mark Pimlott right behind him. So a lovely 3-way fight there going on for will be 4th position, I think. Yes, it'll be for 4th that Ross is challenging for right now. And right behind him, Mark Pimlott still doing his best to try and keep up with the field ahead. Justin Werbelow is basically doing what Max Master had the ability to do in the first race. He's 4.5 seconds to the good now. He's long gone. Max is into 9th position now with Anthony de Horst right behind. Well, I say right behind. He's 1.7 seconds behind in 10th place. Oh, Davy Christie's just lost. Well, he's having an argument with Andrew Richardson, who was up on the podium in the first race. Whoa, that's from that camera angle. It looked like Ross was very deep.
You can see that he's pretty much fully across the curb there, as obviously they're now come through. Fortunately, the camera's cut perfectly timed. But obviously, yeah, we've got a lot of drivers here that are fully committed to that line. They are pretty much not lifting almost, like they're braking and then there's no sort of like steering input. They're almost trying to straight line as much as possible. Obviously, that is the fastest route. But equally, it's a high risk, high reward situation. You get one wrong move on that on the sausage curbs, and you can kiss your race goodbye.
Yeah. Oh no, Denise Pope's fallen foul. Where's she done that? That's Allard. That's the first turn. So she's gotten going again, but down in 17th position now. She comes through Campbell, Cobb, and Seagrave. So she's had a mistake of some description. There's Trev Hummer and Steve Hilton argue over 13th position. There's Ross McGregor. Right. Oh no, there is Steve Hilton.
Oh, he comes back on. Oh, that was a bit of a uh-oh moment had he come out any further. But yeah, the subway car not having much luck. In fact, neither subway car having much luck. I believe they both started near the front, didn't they? They almost started. I think they started both on the one on the front and one on the second row.
They did indeed. It was 2nd and 3rd for the subway rounded cars, but not going their way. A substandard, if anything. Result coming their way, not performance because they're doing their best, but it's not going their way. I think it's fair to say as Ross McGregor's gone ahead of Rolf Schuring.
Something's happened to him then, because he was fighting for that podium and all of a sudden he's now going, well, it looks like Mark Pimlott's about to make a move on him as well.
Could well be. I think he could well have made a mistake. Club has caught a number of people out, and I wonder whether he's made a mistake there as well, as we see Yannick Valenduc now fending off Tom O'Farrell for second position. There's Justin Werwolf going through the shot. Race leader, less than 10 minutes of the race to go, so half the race now gone, and then that will tie it up for Thruxton once that is over and done with. And wow, again, a fantastic race going on. Ross now looking to break clear of his pursuers, and he's certainly done so. 1.1 seconds behind Tom O'Farrell and 1.4 ahead of Rolf Schuring, who's got Mark Pimlott for company in 5th position. Vanadu is pushing hard to try and keep Tom O'Farrell behind, using every pixel of the road he can to maximise his momentum. As mentioned before, that is exactly what you need to do in these light-powered cars. As a downforce isn't actually a thing. You know, your wing mirror is as good as it gets downforce-wise, as that's Tom O'Farrell gets a good run on the Dutchman heading up towards the club chicane. Ooh, is he going to win out on this one?
There's a bit of contact, so that was possibly reluctant. I don't think there was enough really to warrant any issue, but Tom O'Farrell's not going to lose out to Ross McGregor. Ross McGregor's got a great run through there.
Yeah, Ross enjoyed that one. Had his foot absolutely nailed to the bulkhead, and is he going to actually get the Dutchman as well? Tom O'Farrell now back up to speed, latching onto the back of the 59 traction machine. Who is going to win out on that one? Stu Neal has gone ahead of Max Mars. They're having an argument for 7th.
So there we go. Farrell's gone back through again.
Yes. And then right behind them is Schuring and Pimlott. They still haven't resolved their battle for 5th position. Here comes McGregor again, trying to get alongside Tom O'Farrell.
I think he's alongside.
Yeah, coming through Noble. Not anymore. Yeah, Tom had the inside line. Coming through Noble, now into Goodwood. I think it's a bit of a lift there. There's no brakes going on there, but a little bit of a lift unless you want to wander off into the scenery. And still, the Scotsman's going to have to find his way past the Englishman at the moment. Curran de Groot and Stu Neal arguing for 8th, as Pimlott and Schuring have now swapped round. We come through Church, heading towards Brooklands now. The flat-out left-hander. And this battle is probably going to last to the flag, I would think, unless one of them can resolve it. It's, as much as Vanadu tries to run away, I doubt he's going to be able to get too much daylight between himself and his pursuers.
Absolutely not. I think these guys, again, you've got a class of their own. Like, obviously, this field is full of very, very talented drivers, you know. And you look at like people like Stu and Max, who were at the front of the field for a lot of the time. As Cohen's dropping down now, he's off in a big way. That is off in a big way. You can see him just in the back there.
He's gone for the commentary box.
He has, absolutely.
Oh dear, a great shame there for. Is that both de Groots out? It is.
It is now. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Cohen and Stefan are now both out. As you can see, Tom O'Farrell's finally got to the back of Valenduc now. Yeah,
the battle for second is very much hotted up now. Ross McGregor is a second behind this pair, but of course the more they find, the more they're going to slow each other up. So Ross is certainly going to be involved in this one. Whoa, as Tom goes for a much tighter line coming through Church. I beg your pardon, that's through Goodwood now into Village. Oh my goodness, can he get that one to stick? Tom O'Farrell, you brave boy. A good amount of racing room left there by Yannick Valenduc. As Tom O'Farrell now up into second. Ross McGregor has got a good run. Max Mars now up into 6th position. So was he biding his time? Is it worth kind of keeping tyres or anything like that for later in the race? Or maybe he was lightly fueled, so he had to do a bit of fuel saving early on?
I think it was just a case of, again, the field being so tight and bunched. Obviously, it's not a case of, you know, one by one. When you're racing in the first 10 minutes or first 5 minutes of this race, as everybody's so bunched together, you're not just attacking, you're also defending at the same time. Obviously, now he's built himself a little bit of a gap between him and the next car behind. He has time to obviously settle down and focus on the car in front, rather than obviously focus on how he's got to defend as well.
Yeah, absolutely so. So just over 5 minutes of this race to go, race number 2 here at Thruxton. Christian Hummer having an argument for 11th, slightly further down. Cohen de Groot is back out on circuit, so he's rejoined the field, although some distance down, as you would imagine. Mark Pimlott a little bit on his own in 5th position. Max Mars now through his immediate challengers in 6th place. Rolf Schuring, our pole sitter for this round, in 7th place. And Stu Neal 8th, Anthony de Horst in 9th, and then Andrew Richardson, who finished on the podium in race 1, is in 10th place as Tom O'Farrell continuing to press on to hold on to 2nd place. Justin Werbelow just has to bring it home now, doesn't have to do anything silly. Is nearly 5-second lead to himself now, which, well, the only person that can really undo that is himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, he's now in a position where he commands the race. Tom is closing the gap, but obviously with not long left of the race, obviously very limited number of laps, Tom has a lot of work ahead of him. You have to close at about 1.5 seconds a lap to even just be on the back.
Indeed. Through Campbell Coppinsea Grove now, that gap looks a bit smaller between themselves and Werbelow, but I'm not sure it is. Well, it is a little bit, but at that rate, they're not going to catch Justin unless, of course, he makes a mistake, or if he's underfueled. We will see as the race continues. But of course, this being the 2nd race, they've obviously got a guide on how much fuel they used in race 1, so you'd think they would get that right. But there's always going to be those that push the limits of the fuel gauge.
Absolutely.
And we'll see who is going to fall foul of that as the race presses on. Wow, Tom's really gotten into his stride now. He's got himself nearly 1 second between himself and Vanadin. Ross McGregor doesn't look like he's got enough pace to close in just yet. You can never discount Ross McGregor from anything.
Absolutely not. I think you couldn't really discount anybody in that top 10. As we've seen, there, just that's a big count. That's got to be a bit of a slap on the wrist there. But obviously you can see Tom is now pushing as hard as he can. He wants the win, but obviously now that obviously incidents are being spotted, and obviously he's cut quite a large chunk of that the track there. I'm surprised they didn't penalise him for it. You can see that obviously they're pushing harder and harder to try and catch the ever quick at the moment Justin Werbelow.
Yep, there's Trev Hummer and David Christie having an argument for 11th position. David Christie's been fighting someone all race long, and there he is arguing against the Pro-Am VTCC champion, double Pro-Am VTCC champion of the American, number 404. And Dave Christie is doing a great job. I think it's the first time I've commentated with David Christie before. I think it's the first time I've ever commentated on David Christie. So it's good to see how he can translate his skills into the racing world. So good on him.
Absolutely.
And we know how quick Trev is.
Oh yeah, we do. I've raced him enough times. In fact, I'm pretty sure, obviously he won't like to admit this, but I helped him at the start of his days using the wheel. We used to jump on PC2, and obviously I taught him what I could know, and I'm just a bit more frustrated that I ended up making him quicker than I am.
You're too good a teacher.
The talent is there, and he's much younger than I am. He's 3 or 4 years younger, and he's got a lot more opportunities
ahead. At you playing the age card. You can shut up on that one, youngster.
Hey, I can say that, but no, obviously, these guys are incredible. And to be fair, I'm surprised. I think Trev after this will probably be going down with his, to watch the Super Bowl with his family. I'm sure he'll be spending Super Bowl Sunday with his family after this, so it'd be quite. I'm sure he'll want to get top 10 finish to add to that. Obviously, a lot of sport this weekend, and obviously new Formula 1 livery reveals as well, which is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to the new season.
Six Nations as well.
Oh, absolutely! I was loving yesterday.
Yeah, I bet you were.
It was great. Oh, Toby, no! What's happened to Toby?
Oh, not again, Toby.
Again.
I just saw Aaron Large had gone for a bit of a discussion. In fairness, talking about Six Nations, he was damn close between England and Wales, and there's no harm in losing to the champions. Wales, very worthy champions.
Scotland and Wales yesterday was incredible. Obviously, we are here to talk about racing primarily. Obviously, we are racers, but rugby is obviously one of the biggest parts. I think it's one of the sports that brings everybody a bit closer.
I would agree with that. Right, final lap then. Justin Werbelow leading by 3.5 seconds. So that lead has come down, but he's just doing what he needs to do to bring it home. On the top spot of the podium, Tom O'Farrell has broken away from Yannick Van den Dijk by about 1 and a bit seconds. Dave Christie and Trev Hummer still argue over 11th. Ross McGregor's made a mistake somewhere because he's now 3.5 seconds back from Van den Dijk. And then the field is very spread out. Max Mars up to 5th place. They're about just under 2 seconds behind Ross. Then you've got Mark Pimlock, 6th. Rolf Sturing, 7th. He's got Stu Neal in relatively short company. Then Andrew Richardson in 9th. Anthony Terhorst in 10th. And David Christie and Trev Hummer still in a fantastic battle for trying to get into the... Well, I was going to say getting into the top 10. Beg your pardon. That's actually a battle for 11th.
Yeah, I was going to say they're a bit far back now. But obviously, you know, they're enjoying themselves. And that's the thing. Like, so long as you... Again, I think you walk away from any race with a smile on your face, then, you know, it doesn't matter where you finish, because you thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think that's the most important thing about any race you do, any sport you do. You should always walk away with a good smile.
Absolutely, absolutely. So then, your winner for race number 2 here at Thruxton for the opening round of the Clio Cup is Justin Werbelove. 2nd, Tom O'Farrell. 3rd is Yannick Van den Dijk. 4th is Ross McGregor. 5th, race
Oh, that was... Oh!
Wow, that was
Ross,
close.
talk about a bit of a closer finish there. Ross having a massive mistake, clearly, obviously. But, yeah, obviously, I think on paper, I think this hands the lead to the championship to Justin Werbelove leaving here. I think if my brain has done the math right. Or it could be tied. I think Justin finished 5th.
Yeah, so Trev Hummer has come home in 11th. David Christie is nowhere to be found, so he's had a mistake in that final lap, just beating Steve Hilton over the line for 12th position. Then Tom Bunton, 14. Denise Pope, 15. Aaron Large, 16. Toby Owen bouncing over.
See that windscreen's absolutely battered as well. You'll see it as it decides to crash a little bit, but as it comes across now, you'll see just how battered the front windscreen is there.
Not been a good night for Toby Owen. Chris Fisher, a bit of a struggle for him in 18th position. Then Jari van Binbergen in 19th. Karen de Groot, he's out there on track somewhere. He's already crossed the line.
I think that was him there, yeah, behind him. Obviously Van Binsbergen there now. I believe he should now be coming through to finish the race, as it's decided to have a little bit of a hissy, and there we go.
There we go. That is everybody over the line. So 20 cars survived the second round. But what a wonderful grid we've had in this race. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to run off before we have a chance to do any kind of driver interviews. We would normally try and speak to our race winners, podium sitters, what have you. Unfortunately, for my own reasons, I must actually depart immediately. Adam, Ben, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.
A great pleasure to have you in the box with me. Thank you very much to those that have been with us throughout the stream, either live or post-event. A great pleasure to have you with us. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. Is it? You said it was Donington? Is it Donington?
I believe it's Croft next.
Oh, Croft. Yes. Beg your pardon. Yes, Croft. It is on the calendar. Up north. Yes, north. In 2 weeks' time for the Clios. Next week we return with the touring cars. So very much looking forward to that. Plenty of other racing going on here at SSRI in between then and now. So do come back with us then. Until then, thank you very much and good night.